Single dad janitor was laughed at. Translate this, and my salary is yours. His replies stunned them. Effin Cole had been mopping the marble floors of the towering corporate building for 2 years. A widowed single dad, his life revolved around two things: keeping a roof over his daughter, Lily's head, and making sure she never saw how exhausted he really was. Most of the office employees never looked at him twice except when they made jokes. "Careful, janitor," one of the junior execs would say, stepping over the wet floor sign. "Wouldn't want you to slip on your own career path." Ethan smiled and kept cleaning. He needed the job. The challenge one Friday evening, the CEO, Mr. Harrington, held a late meeting with the board. Ethan was cleaning the hallway outside when he heard laughter. The glass door swung open, and a group of executives stepped out, speaking hurriedly. "Wait," one of them said, pointing at Ethan with a smirk. "You? Janitor." Ethan turned, mop in hand. "Yes, sir. You speak anything besides mop," the man sneered, holding up a sheet of paper covered in handwritten text. "We just got this letter from our overseas partner. It's in Mandarin. Our translator's gone home." The others chuckled. "Tell you what," the man added. "Translate this correctly, and my salary's yours for a month." He said it like a joke, his colleagues roaring with laughter. Ethan's eyes scanned the page. He hesitated, not because he couldn't read it, but because it brought back memories. The secret before life had broken him into a janitor's uniform. Ethan had been a linguist in the military, fluent in 6 languages. He'd spent years decoding messages that saved lives. But after losing his wife in a car accident, he walked away from everything to raise Lily. He slowly took the paper. The room went quiet when Ethan began to speak in perfect Mandarin, his voice calm and steady. He translated, not just the words, but the nuance, the business etiquette buried in the phrasing. Then he read the English version aloud, every syllable precise. When he finished, the room was silent. The man who had mocked him stuttered, How did you?" Ethan handed the paper back. "You said your salary, right? Lily's gonna need braces soon. I'll take the direct deposit." The twist minutes later, the CEO himself stepped forward. Unlike the others, he wasn't laughing. "Mr. Cole, I know exactly who you are now. I served with men like you overseas." He held out his hand. "We don't need a janitor. We need a head of our international communications team. You start Monday." Ethan blinked, speechless. The junior exec who'd mocked him swallowed hard. "Wait, that wasn't. I was kidding," Mr. Harrington cut him off. "And you'll be docking a month's salary. Mr. Cole earned it." That night, Ethan came home to his daughter, still in disbelief. He knelt beside her bed and whispered, "Lily, Daddy's not just a janitor anymore." She hugged him tight, unaware that her father's quiet strength had just changed both of their lives forever. Ethan Cole's hands were calloused from years of labor. The smell of disinfectant clung to his clothes no matter how many times he washed them. He never complained. Cleaning floors at Harrington Global paid enough to cover rent and keep food on the table for his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. Every night after his shift, he'd tiptoe into her small room, kiss her forehead, and promise himself he'd give her a better life someday. But someday always felt far away. The humiliation. It was a Friday night when everything changed. The corporate floor was buzzing with an emergency board meeting. Ethan kept to the edges of the hallway, mop in hand, careful not to disturb the executives in their suits. When the glass doors opened, laughter spilled into the corridor. "Hey, janitor," one of the younger executives called out with a smirk. "You know Mandarin?" He waved a document in the air. "We got a letter from Beijing, and our translator's gone home. Big business deal. Millions on the line." His colleagues chuckled. "Come on, ask him. Maybe he knows how to clean up a sentence." The man grinned and said the words that would change Ethan's life. "Translate this correctly, and my salary's yours for a month." More laughter. It was a joke to them. The revelation. Ethan slowly put down the mop and took the paper. The Mandarin characters swam before his eyes, not because he didn't understand them, but because they dragged him back in time. He remembered sitting in a sweltering tent in Afghanistan, headphones on, translating intercepted transmissions. That saved an entire platoon. He remembered the classified files he'd decoded for international security agencies. He also remembered the moment he quit. His wife had died in a car crash while he was overseas. His little girl had been left alone. Ethan left the world of intelligence behind to be the only parent Lily had left. The room of executives watched him. One scoffed. "Well, don't tell me it's too hard." Ethan cleared his throat and began to speak in flawless Mandarin. His tone carried the proper respect and subtlety that business correspondence required. When he finished, he translated it into English, word for word, explaining cultural nuances the company would have missed. His calm, steady voice filled the room. By the time he finished, the laughter had stopped. The executives were frozen. The CEO, Mr. Harrington, stepped forward slowly. His sharp eyes studied Ethan. "You weren't just some janitor before. This, were you?" Ethan gave a small, tired smile. "No, sir, but I am now. It pays the bills." The young executive who mocked him shifted uncomfortably. "It was just a joke." Mr. Harrington ignored him. "Mr. Cole, how many languages do you speak?" "6 fluently. Working on my 7th. The CEO's lips curled into a grin. "We've been trying to hire someone like you for months. We don't need a janitor with those skills. We need a director of international communications. Full salary, benefits, and stock options." The mocking executive's face went pale. "And as for you," Mr. Harrington said, turning to him, "I'll be docking a month's salary. Mr. Cole just earned it." The homecoming that night, Ethan walked into their tiny apartment with tears in his eyes. Lily ran into his arms. "Daddy, why are you smiling like that?" He hugged her close. "Because things are going to change, sweetheart. Daddy's not just a janitor anymore." For the first time in years, someday had become today.